You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot
NCAA
Box.
March Madness, the NCAA tournament, baby. This is my favorite time of year. My birthday has always been around this time of year, so I always used the one day on Friday to get off of school. That was always one of the things I wanted for my birthday, was to get off school and sit at home and watch the first couple games of the tournament. That was
The best was being in school and figuring out
once,
a way to watch it.
like your phones, cause I mean, I sound so old when I say that, but once I got like a smartphone and I was able to watch it on my phone, then that's when it was elite. But when I was in high school, you weren't allowed to have your phone out, or you get it taken away from you for 2 days. That's insane. Yeah, I feel like a fossil having this conversation. So let's not talk.
Yeah,
about
the cool
that
teachers like, you know what? I'm going to put the games on.
Oh, that was the best. Yeah, there was always some guy, and then there was always some hardo dude or even a woman who was just like, no, we're gonna learn about we're gonna do your vocab homework right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. All right, pal. I'm gonna make sure I take off tomorrow. So, listen, tournament wise, we're not gonna go through everything, pick your brackets and whatnot. Just overall, the UConns of the world. Name a team that you think is going to make that sort of run that we always see every year, where it's unexpected and you're like, wow, these guys have come out of nowhere. Unbelievable. What a Cinderella story. Oh, unbelievable. Can't believe that.
Who is? What would you? What seed or higher should I go with? Should I give you a double digit? There's always really a double digit.
There is a double digit that makes a nice run. Yeah, I have one.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think it's NC State.
Ooh, listen, they just made a run. They're in the middle.
Saying. Like, I think they're on a heater right now, and I don't see a reason. I'm looking at the teams that they play in the first couple rounds. I mean, Texas Tech, which yeah, exactly, and then Kentucky.
Kentucky would be a little tough. The only problem is Kentucky plays little to no defense.
Exactly.
That's going to get you bounced from the tournament. I don't care who you are. You have to play a little bit of defense. Now, if you're defense only, like Iowa State, that's a problem, because if you get behind early, you kind of can't battle back. It's kind of the problem that UVA always has.
Yeah.
They get down in a hole. They can't make a run to get back. So,
and they can't score at all. They've never been able to.
Iowa State, not a good. I don't trust them at all. I don't trust Kentucky, but I do think Kentucky has a decent little bracket, because the two is Marquette. I think is it Cam Jones? One of the Jones guards is hurt. Let's see. Hold on real quick. Is it Cam? Yeah, it's Cam Jones. And that's one of their best players. That's going to really hurt them. Western Kentucky's a sneaky good 15 seed. Honestly, Don McHenry leading them at guard. He's pretty decent, but I don't think they're going to get it done. Either way, that play-in seed, I think that's tonight, right? Colorado and I can't think of the team they're playing, but the winner of that plays Florida, who's missing one of their best players.
Boise State.
Boise State. So the part of that region is kind of banged up. So it's kind of open, at least I think it is. You also have Duke up there. I love the Catamounts. I really want to pick them, but I think Duke's gonna prove some people wrong that they're not always these first round busts, but it could happen. It could happen.
I wonder if Coach K's going to fake an illness and go down again.
Yeah. My double-digit Cinderella upset is from the same part of that bracket in the South region. JMU, the Dukes.
Wow.
James Madison, 31-3, 15-3 in the Fun Belt. They've won the last. They're 10-0 in their last 10 games. They are very accurate from the field from three. Not great free throw shooting team, but that's okay. Terrence Edwards Jr. leading the way. I like what JMU does. I like the way they play. I've been watching them for a little bit. Just running roughshod over some of these decent teams. Akron, who's also in the tournament, smoked them a couple times. I'm going to go JMU. I think they have a pretty decent matchup with Wisconsin. The first round, that's the 5. Wisconsin 22-13 this year, 5-5 in their last 10, I believe. They just lost to Illinois. They almost lost to Purdue. They did beat them in OT. Losing to Purdue before that, losing to Illinois a couple times. Lost to Indiana, giving up Iowa, I should say, giving up 88 points. They don't play really good defense. They're banged up a little bit, I believe. Yeah, AJ Storr, or not AJ Storr. I think AJ Storr is their best player, but other than him, man, if he can't get going, I think they're going to be another team that's struggling to claw back into a game. So I like JMU, man. I think, again, part of this region is going to be a mess. Houston's at the top of it. That's a little scary. But maybe Nebraska, maybe A&M can knock them off. JMU's going to have to beat Houston, but we've seen Houston choke before. So it's definitely something that can happen. I think if I were to go with another double-digit seed to make it far, easily the Drake Bulldogs.
Wow.
28-6 in the Missouri Valley, 16-4 in the conference. Probably one of the best players in the tournament, Tucker DeVries. If you haven't watched him play, he's an absolute baller playing for his.
That was a guy I picked last year, right? His dad's coaching, isn't that the deal? They
Yeah,
lost, right? They lost a close one.
He plays for his dad. Yeah, I forget who they lost to. I don't know if it was not West Virginia.
They broke my heart last year, though. That I remember that because they were one of my big picks because he's like 6'6", 6'7", and he just gets buckets, dude. Because he's pretty good.
Buckets, ball handler. He's nasty, man. I'm trying to think who they lost to last year. But
somebody's listening to this pod right now going, it's these guys. It's these guys.
It's Miami. It was Miami.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And then Miami went on a run, didn't they?
They did go on a run that nobody really saw coming. So that's where I'm really leaning heavily is they play Washington State first round. I like that 10-7 matchup really well for them. Washington State can't really score with them. Isaac Jones pretty solid for them for Washington State, but they just don't have that star power. And I think this is a huge. I don't want to say mismatch, but for a 7-10 seed, yeah, I don't love them there. And then they play Iowa State second round. I think Iowa State could be in trouble with South Dakota State. Now they're going to need more than Zeke Mayo leading the charge for it. But if South Dakota State can get Iowa State, catch them on a bad shooting night, I can see them making it close. But Iowa State in general probably holds South Dakota State to like 40, 50 points. But they play against Drake, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a much different story. Also, right above them, Illinois, BYU, Auburn. I don't like any of these teams in the East besides really UConn. So I think Drake is probably my strongest double-digit seed to make a run.
BYU has a dude named Khalifa who's huge, who bangs threes. I don't know. That's all I really know about them, so I'm not going to act like I'm an expert. But I was watching them one night, and the student section was going nuts because this guy had one of the cleanest jumpers. And he does not look like an athlete, does not look like a basketball player, and he was just cashing threes out. So, Ty, I just want to go through some of the first-round games, odds-wise, some of the lines, and see what your thought process is. Michigan State, Mississippi State. Michigan State's a -1.5 favorite.
Let me start off by tonight real quick.
Sure.
Colorado -3 is the play. I think they're going to beat Boise State easily. Boise State.
Colorado's pretty good.
Colorado is good. They're going to have like a top 10, top 15, maybe top 5 pick in Cody Williams. They're led by KJ Simpson, who gets buckets. I like Tristan Da Silva. I like Eddie Lampkin, the big boy down low. There's a couple big boys in this tournament. Eddie Lampkin's one of them from TCU. I like Colorado a lot, man. I've watched Boise State a couple times in the Mountain West. They just got smoked by Boise or New Mexico State, another team that I really like in this tournament, New Mexico State. Other than that, Tyson Degenhart is pretty solid. Chibuzo Agbo is pretty decent, but I don't see with Boise. I've seen it all year. They've just been up and down and up and down. It makes sense. That's why they're in the first 4 games. Same with Colorado. Colorado, if you can't really win games in the Pac-12, that kind of makes me a little nervous. But yeah. I do like some of the quote-unquote star power that Colorado has.
So are you like Michigan State or Mississippi State?
I like Mississippi State. I also kind of like Mississippi State to upset UNC. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think they match up really well with them. They have one of my favorite players, one of my favorite duos in Tolu Smith and Josh Hubbard, the lead guard Josh Hubbard and the big man Tolu Smith, to kind of match up with RJ Davis and 25th year senior Armando Bacot. But and they also, it's pretty much just those two guys that are the scorers for New Mexico, Mississippi State. But they also have a couple guys, Deshaun Davis, is it Raquel Smith, I think, or Markel Smith, and then DJ Jeffries, long wing players that can defend, that can block shots, maybe just good athletes in general. I think they just match up with UNC pretty well. Chris Jans is also their coach, a very good coach. If you're not familiar with him, he was at New Mexico State before he was at Mississippi State, and he was balling. He also led New Mexico State. I believe the one year I picked them, they were a 13 or a 14, and they got a big upside. I believe that was 2018. Forgetting who it was over, but he went 122 and 32 there. So he's already got Mississippi State back-to-back in the dance, doing good things in a tough conference. So that could be a sneaky pick. Michigan State's going to be tough to beat Izzo, right? he's always going to have his guys ready. But I like Mississippi State in that one.
Okay, so then we got a couple of stinker. Oh, not really stinker, but BYU Duquesne. BYU's 9.5.
Watch out for them Dukes.
Yeah, you never know. Creighton is 13.5. I like Creighton. I watched.
That's my team to make a deep run. That's not a high seed, but maybe a 3-4. I mean, UConn won as a 4 last year, so if there's like a 3-4-5 you can target, that's my squad, man.
Yeah.
I like Creighton a lot. I know they lost some games, but they played a lot of tough teams, and I think they turned it on as the year went on. Akron, pretty decent, but just not going to get it done.
Arizona Long Beach State 19.5. I don't think that's really a. I don't like betting lines like that. I
also don't like betting Arizona in March.
Yeah,
so.
No, they're not trustworthy whatsoever. Who's even coaching them these days? I don't even know. Used to be Sean Miller.
Tommy Lloyd.
Okay.
He was at Gonzaga for like 7 years, I think.
North Carolina minus 24.5. So that's against Wagner, against the boys. How about Illinois?
Seahawks, baby.
Minus 11.5 against Morehead State.
Oh, Morehead State. Remember, they pulled off a huge upset as a 13. I know it was a while ago, so it has no bearings in this game. It was him, but I don't know if he was on that team. I forget the guy who pulled up at the top of the key and hit that 3 right in Louisville's face. I think it was Peyton Siva who got daggered, but I forget the guy's name. But Morehead State, really good player. Riley Minix from Vero Beach, Florida, 6'7", 230, can shoot, gets rebounds, pretty decent passer. He's going to be – it's always interesting to watch these games if you have a team that's like good, like who's Morehead State playing again?
Illinois.
Illinois has Terrence Shannon, but, what if he has a bad game and you forgot that Morehead State has a star and now he's on and you're like, damn, who's this Riley Minix dude? He's got 35. Always interesting when one of these mid-majors teams has a guy that just explodes in the tournament and nobody really sees it coming. So I would love for that to happen. They're only 11-point underdogs. 14-13s always win a game or maybe 2 in the tournament. So you got to watch out. That's one I would watch out for. Probably would take Illinois. I think they have the coaching in that's, again, Terrence Shannon is a stud. He gets buckets off the court issues, but still, I think they get it done.
Oregon, only a 1 point underdog, a 1.5 point underdog to South Carolina. I liked Oregon when I was watching them throughout the season. They are hot.
They went on a run and won their conference just as well.
Their center, was his name Dante?
Nafali Dante,
dude, beast, absolute monster.
Big scary fella, yeah.
So that's something to look out for. Nevada, 1.5 point favorite as the 10 seed over Dayton, the Flyers.
That's a tough one. I don't know those 7-10s and 9-8s. I'm always
go either way.
I'm just gonna pick flip a coin.
Texas 2.5 over Colorado State. Colorado State,
another
the 10
good one,
seed.
man.
That's a really good one. Thursday's got a lot of good games. Oakland and Kentucky.
Isaiah Stevens, good player for Colorado State. I like Oakland, but I'm probably just not going to get it done.
How about
McNeese?
Yeah, Gonzaga.
That's who I want to pick, man. 30-3. Will Wade, shunned from the NCAA. LSU said we don't want you anymore. Goes down the road to McNeese. 30-3. Now, if you want to rewind a little bit to who they played in November, they played the University of the Bible Studies. They played Champion Christian.
Okay.
And not only did they play those schools, they played the University of Mississippi for women.
What?
Is what the schools play. Yeah, they didn't play women, but the University for women.
Okay. Well, so, I'm fading that.
Their non-conference schedule is pretty weak, and they're going up against Gonzaga, who's not as good, but they're definitely battle-tested. They've been there. They've done that. It would be interesting. Will Wade is very, very, very good, so do not underestimate him and the McNeese Broncos.
Iowa State, 15.5 against South Dakota State. You already talked about them a little bit.
Probably gets it done, yep.
How about Texas Tech is only 4.5 over NC State? Those are my boys. I might be betting that.
I like it.
Samford is a 7.5 dog against your Kansas Jayhawks.
That might be an upset.
Your
man.
Jayhawks have fallen on hard times this season.
They have Kevin McCullough is out for the tournament, which is crazy because a week ago they're like, yeah, he looks ready to go. They told the committee that this is the healthiest they've been all year, and then like, oh yeah, by the way, our second best player, maybe our first best player, out for the rest of the year. Cool, thanks. Also, rumors that he just didn't want to play. So I don't know what's going in Lawrence, but
that's great news. NCAA tournament, you don't want to play.
Yeah, Stanford's best player, Accor, same first, same last name. Anytime there's a guy like that, he's really down to get buckets. So that's gonna be a little scary. They play boogie ball. Is that what it's called? I forget what they call it. It's something after their head coach. So They play a crazy frenetic pace. They won 18-3 in the SoCon, pretty good conference. I think they can win. Kansas hasn't lost in the first round in a long time when they kind of used to always do it.
You think they're due?
They're not healthy. 4-13 seeds are always a tough matchup. The fact they're only 7-point favorite, 7.5, it's a little scary. I think they edge it out because I don't think Stanford has anybody that can compete with Hunter Dickinson down low. However, we can't shoot for Dick, so I'm not sure. I was really close to picking Stanford, but I'm going to go with Kansas just to at least win one round. But that's a very interesting matchup.
How about to close out Thursday night? We got your Drake Bulldogs taking on. They are the favorite against Washington State -1.5. So I will be firing them.
It's gonna be a good game. It's a good day. It's a good day of games.
It's a good day. Friday, we'll just run through these real quick before we get out of here. +2.5 Northwestern against Florida Atlantic. I love the Owls.
FAU.
Love FAU. Yep. So I'm going to take them. Got Baylor Colgate. Colgate is a +13.5. I never know with Baylor. The one year they made their championship run, I did not expect them to, and then they
smoked everybody.
They smoked everybody, and they were just so physical, and they were just making shots. Davion Mitchell was elite. That was a year. How about UAB against San Diego State? They are 7.5-point dogs. Good game. So that is going to be a really good game. San Diego State. I still remember when Steve Fisher was the coach, but Western Kentucky. Is he alive? Is he died? Did he die? You said R.I.P. I don't know.
No, I said R. I didn't say R.
I thought you were going R.I.P. there, man.
Rest. No, just rest.
Right. Western Kentucky +14.5 against Marquette. I like Marquette. I
would like to see a 15 here. If there's any 15, it's going to be them or South Dakota State. But I'm trying to think of Western Kentucky's best player, but I'm really drawing a blank. So
if Kolek's good to go, then I think the Marquette.
Yeah, I think he is. As long as he is, they're good.
So there's that. How about where am I at? Stetson. Shout out to
Let's
Stetson.
Go.
Playing UConn.
Stetson.
They're gonna get smoked probably. So it's 26.
Stop it. We rep Stetson down here. I forget their campus is somewhere close around here, so we rep them hard. But they're gonna get absolutely obliterated.
I think Clemson's pretty good, but they're dogs against New Mexico. They are 2.5-point dogs against. Clemson seems like they ruined a lot of my parlays this year. That's why I say that.
Yeah, they won games, and then you're like, all right, let's bet it, and they lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jamal Mashburn Jr. With also Jalen House, JT Toppin, Nelly Jr. Joseph, who I think played for Rick. Man. He played for Rick Pitino for like 3 years at Iona. Now he's playing in New Mexico. What's that guy? Donovan Dent. I think he had a seizure. No, what happened? He got diarrhea mid game or something. He still put up 20 points. So I love New Mexico. That's my squad. The problem is very inconsistent, just like most of those Mountain West teams. So I favor them over Clemson, but Clemson has a pretty decent squad. We'll see if they can finally make it work in March. So
now we got Auburn, Yale. Auburn 12.5-point favorite. That's one of yours.
Danny Wolf, big fan of the way he plays on Yale, the big white center, but they probably just can't get it done against Auburn.
That's a tough matchup. Nebraska -1.5 against Texas A&M.
No idea who's going to win that one. A&M 14 losses,
I'm
but
staying away from
Tyrese Radford and Wade Taylor, 2 stud guards, I think. Also, Nebraska has the Asian fella, Casey Tominaga. He's a bucket. So it's going to be a just guard matchup in that game. I'm actually excited. I'm probably going to predict it wrong, but...
Yeah, that's usually one of them. Them 8-9 have me in hell usually. How about Duke, Vermont? Duke -12.5. We talked about that. We just think Duke, this is not the year for Duke to go down early on. Alabama, Charleston.
I wanted to pick them.
Alabama's kind of fraudulent, but
I wanted to take my. They score 100 points a game.
I know.
You know,
they play no defense
tough for anybody.
At all.
Right. So I think Rain Smith, Anti Brasovich, Ben Burnham. They have some decent players. Kendall Rogers, Kobe Rogers, I should say. I like CFC. I think this might. It's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little tough.
How about Longwood, Houston? We think we know. We don't even have to talk about that too much. Yeah, Longwood's going to get smoked. How about JMU 5.5 against Wisconsin? You've already discussed. That's one of your teams you're picking. TCU, Utah State. Utah State is a +4.5 underdog to TCU. TCU. They did not make a run. I'm thinking of Kansas State last year because they both have the same colors. But how about Grand Canyon? St. Mary's. This one I truly think is a game where it could go either way. St. Mary's had a good year, but you just never know with those West Coast Conference schools. It's really, I mean, Gonzaga has had elite teams, and they have faltered. And then when I think they're going to lose, they go out and they take out UCLA, my national champion last year, and break my heart. So
yeah, Grand Canyon also coached by Bryce Drew. If you remember him,
wow.
he was the one who made that big shot a while back.
Yeah, and his brother coaches at Baylor.
Scott, yep.
How about it?
And Tyon Grant Foster is the best player for Grand Canyon. He's like a 6'7", 200-pound freak athlete who can now shoot the ball. I guess he can shoot the ball now. So he played at Kansas as a I think he was a JUCO transfer, and he was terrible. He was so bad. You could tell there was something there potential-wise, but he had to go to somewhere where there was no pressure, where he could just kind of work through the kinks mid-season, like something you can't do at Kansas. Went to DePaul. That didn't work. That place is a goddamn mess. I think he only played one game. Got hurt, transferred to Grand Canyon, averages 20 points a game. So just, I also think he had some kind of heart issue on the court. So to see him battle back from that, yeah, well, it happened a while ago. But to see him battle back from that, it's a good story. They have a pretty good team. Ray Harrison also, they can shoot the hell out of the ball. Good coach who's also been there. St. Mary's, they just beat Kansas. No, they didn't. That was BYU. They just beat Gonzaga, but other than that, man, I wasn't too impressed with St. Mary's. I know they have Aiden Mahoney, the kid Augustus Marcelonis, the Lithuanian, but I think that's a team that is very prone to be upset. Yeah. I kind of like Grand Canyon. The fact that the spread's only 5, I don't know.
That's all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. So that will wrap it up.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.